Once upon a time, in a small village called Sundarpur, nestled between green hills and sparkling rivers, there lived a girl named Sia. She was different from the other kids at school. Sia was shorter than most of her classmates. Every day, she sat at the front of the class, always kind and willing to help. But no one wanted to sit next to her. The other kids avoided her and never included her in their groups. She was always alone, and the children whispered mean things behind her back. Look at her face and her height. She's so strange, they would say. Sia tried her best to ignore their hurtful words, but deep down it stung. Even the teachers who used to praise her for being smart and eager to learn seemed to distance themselves. It felt like everyone at school was against her, and Sia didn't know why. She had always been kind and respectful, but no matter what she did, the kids laughed at her and called her names. As time passed, Sia started to hate going to school. She no longer looked forward to it and found excuses to stay home. One morning she would say she had a headache, and the next she'd pretend to have a cold. Sia's mother grew worried and asked why she didn't want to go to school. But Sia was too ashamed to admit that no one wanted to be her friend. Determined to help, her mother went to the school to talk to Sia's teacher. The teacher explained that the other students didn't want to be friends with Sia because she was different. She lacked the confidence to fit in. This gave Sia's mother an idea. She suggested a project to the teacher. Let's build Sia's confidence, she said. The teacher asked how, and Sia's mother suggested a special assignment. The children would research unique people from history who faced challenges but went on to achieve great things. Each student would present the life story of one such person. The teacher was amazed by the idea and agreed. The next day, Sia returned to school, encouraged by her mother. The teacher announced the project and Sia was excited. She wanted to know if people like her, different from the others, could also succeed. She began researching and was surprised by the results. She discovered countless people who had been unique and excluded by others, but went on to do extraordinary things that changed the world. Sia wondered if she too could be like them and do something special. From that point on, Sia went to school with a new sense of excitement. She no longer cared so much about making friends or fitting in. She accepted that she was different, and if someone didn't want to be friends with her, it didn't bother her anymore. If anyone made fun of her, she didn't let it affect her. She focused more on her studies, determined to discover her unique talent and how she could do something special. Days passed and Sia found new hobbies. Her mother was a seamster, and Sia slowly began learning how to sew from her. Soon she could make beautiful clothes for herself. One day, Sia's teacher made an announcement that filled the class with excitement. Next week, we will have a special group project. Each group will design and create beautiful outfits for the village festival. The group with the best design will win a special prize. The room buzzed with chatter as the students quickly formed groups, but Sia sat quietly at her desk, knowing no one would want her in their group. However, it didn't bother her anymore. She stood up and calmly said, "I like to work alone." The other students laughed and said, "Even if we wanted you in our group, we wouldn't let you in." Sia didn't care and wasn't even angry. The teacher agreed to let her work on her own. Then the teacher called out the name of another girl, Mira, and told her to join group 2. But from across the room, a voice yelled, "We don't want Mira in our group." They were talking about a girl who had just moved to their school. She was often teased because of the acne on her face. Mira rarely spoke unless spoken to and kept to herself. The teacher tried to calm the class, but Mira ran out of the room, tears streaming down her face. Without thinking, Sia jumped up and ran after her. "Mira, wait!" she called. Mira stopped near the school garden and wiped her tears. "Why did you come after me?" she asked in a shaky voice. Sia gently replied, "We can work together. I'd love to be in a group with you." Mira looked at Sia in surprise. "You really want to work with me?" Sia smiled and said, "Of course, we're a perfect match. Together we'll make something beautiful." Mira managed a small smile through her tears. "Thank you. No one has ever been so kind to me." The two girls returned to class, and even though the other students whispered and giggled, Sia and Mira were determined. They decided to work hard on their project and prove that it didn't matter what others thought of them. They wouldn't let mean words break their spirits. The next day at lunch, Sia sat alone under a large tree as usual. But to her surprise, Mira approached her, and the tall, kind-looking boy was with her. Mira smiled shyly. "Can we sit with you?" Sia nodded, feeling warmth in her heart. The boy introduced himself. "I'm Rohan," he said. "Mira's brother." Sia blinked in surprise. She didn't know Mira had a brother, let alone one who seemed so confident and kind. Rohan, with a soft but strong voice, said, "Thank you for being kind to my sister." For the first time in a long while, Sia felt like she had friends. They sat under the tree, talking and laughing. Though other students watched them with curious eyes, Sia didn't care. She had found people who saw her for who she truly was, not just her appearance. Rohan's attention towards Sia sparked jealousy among her classmates. As the days flew by, Sia and Mira worked hard on their project. They spent hours after school sketching designs. Mira, who had learned from her mother, taught Sia how to transform a simple piece of fabric into something luxurious and special. Together, they designed a unique fabric and created a stunning dress based on a vision Sia had. It was amazing how easily Sia, with no previous experience in fashion design, could draw a beautiful dress on paper. She was thrilled to discover she had a talent for it. Their project, a collection of flowing, colorful dresses, was coming together even better than they had imagined. But just when everything seemed to be going well, trouble struck. One evening, while Sia was staying late in class to work, a few students from another group sneaked in. When Sia stepped out to get some water, they ruined her and Mira's project, cutting the fabric and spilling ink on their designs. When Sia returned and saw the mess, her heart sank. All their hard work was destroyed. She ran to Mira's house, tears streaming down her face. "They ruined everything," she cried. Mira's eyes filled with tears too, but then something changed in her expression. She stood tall, her voice steady. "We won't let them win," she said. "We'll start again and make something even better." Sia was amazed by Mira's strength. Together, they stayed up all night, working tirelessly to fix what had been ruined. Sia had a new idea for the ruined dress. She turned the long gown into a short, a stylish dress that no one had ever seen before. Mira stitched the ink stains with pearls and created a unique design for the fabric. The next morning, when they returned to school with their redesigned project, everyone was shocked. Sia and Mira's dresses were even more beautiful and unique than before. Finally, the day of the festival arrived, and all the students gathered to present their projects. Sia and Mira stood excitedly backstage, holding their dresses. When it was their turn, they walked proudly onto the stage. The crowd gasped at the vibrant colors and intricate designs. When the judges announced the winners, they called out Sia and Mira's names. The entire audience stood up and clapped. Sia felt a tear roll down her cheek. But this time, it wasn't because she was sad. It was because for the first time, she was truly proud of who she was. She had discovered her talent for fashion design and even more importantly, had found a true friend in Mira.